I'm going to be making some autumn pear jam. And so I'm going to be using some cranberries and some pears that I got the other day. And it calls for apple juice, but I'm going to have to make my own apple juice. So I decided, why not just put the whole apple in there, just like the pear? So that's what I'm planning to do. So even though I looked through a recipe book, I always change it just a little bit, just to make it my own. Okay, so I'm gonna read you the actual recipe just so that you will have it. It's called Autumn Cranberry Pear Jam. Makes about 6 8-ounce jars. Now I will be preserving these and water bathing these. 3 cups of crushed cored peeled pears. 2/3 cup of coarsely chopped dried cranberries. 1/4 cup of unsweetened apple juice. 1/4 cup of bottled lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1 pouch of liquid pectin. Since I'm new at doing these types of things, I didn't even know they made liquid pectin, but we found some. Number 1, prepare canning jars and lids. Number 2, in a large, deep stainless steel saucepan, combine pears, cranberries, apple juice, lemon juice, sugar, and cinnamon. I don't think I told you how much sugar is supposed to be in this. Whew, 5.5 cups. That seems a little excessive, but that's what it calls for. I probably won't use that. Okay, back to the instructions. Over high heat, stirring constantly, bring to a full rolling boil that cannot be stirred down, and then stir in the pectin. Boil hard, stirring constantly for 1 minute. Remove from the heat and skim off the foam. Ladle hot jam into hot jars, leaving 1/4 inch of headspace. Remove air bubbles. Remove air bubbles and adjust headspace if necessary by adding some more hot jam. Wipe the rim, center the lid on the jar, screw band down until resistance is met, then increase to fingertip tight. Now when I wipe the rim, I wipe it down with some white vinegar. Number 4, place jars in canner, ensuring that they are completely covered with water. Bring to a boil and process for 10 minutes. Remove the canner lid after the 10 minutes and then wait for at least 5 minutes. Then remove the jars, wait till they cool. I always wait overnight, and then you can store them, give them as gifts, and be sure and leave a little bit out for you to try. Okay guys, that's what the home preserving book, the ball book, tells us to do. So I have 1 apple, and I think that's going to be enough because it only calls for 1/4 cup of apples. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and the second thing I'm going to do is get my jars ready. So before I crush the apple, I will be sure and take out the peels and anything else that doesn't look like it needs to be in there. So I'm going to get my water in there now. And I'm going to cook this on low for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. Now this recipe is supposed to make 6 8-ounce jelly jars. Alrighty, here are the pears that I'm working with. So these were freshly picked about 5 days ago. I think I'm probably going to have to cook them in order to smash them. All right, so let's see about getting the core and the seeds out. Yep, they are a little stiff. Now these need to be peeled as well as cored. taste all right. Not as sweet as if they were gonna be like just sit down and eating a pear. But my goodness, by the time you get that 5.5 cups of sugar in it, it'll be sweet enough. I'm just gonna get that done and then I'll show you. I have these pears and the skin sitting in some lemon water. So now it is time to go check the apple and the apple juice. Okay, so my apples are pretty soft. So I'm just gonna let that sit in there until I'm ready to use it. Okay, so I have decided to go ahead and put the ones that I've chopped into a little pan because I am gonna have to cook them. The skin's in here and I'm thinking I'm gonna make some just regular jelly out of the pear skins. Alrighty, so I have finally got all those peeled and diced, and it is a little bit of a job because the pears are so stiff. It seems pretty specific that you have to use a stainless steel pot. I don't know why, but... Okay, the ingredients called for 2/3 cups of coarsely chopped dried cranberries. I don't have any dried cranberries. I had these frozen, and so I'm just going to coarsely chop them. Alrighty, I think those are soft enough to be able to smash them down a little bit, so I'm going to be straining them so I can keep that juice. Alrighty, I'll be roughly putting this together, so I need 3 cups of crushed cored peeled pears. Almost 3, so with the apples that now remember, this is jam, so it's supposed to be fruity, where you can have pieces of the fruit. So I'm going to smash this down just a few more times. Here. Lemon juice from the bottle. I didn't quite have a tablespoon, so we're just going to have to do 1, 2, 3, 3 3/4. I just can't fathom putting in 5.5 cups of sugar, you guys. That's a lot of sugar. So I'm just going to go with what I have in here already. And we're going to bring this to a boil. And as you can see, I didn't have to use that big pan after all. This smaller pan was able to do it. Now we want this to boil to the point that we can't stir it and make it stop boiling like that, like it just did. It stopped. So we want to boil, boil, boil until we can't make it stop, and then we're going to add 1 pack of liquid pectin. Okay, so this is the liquid pectin that we picked up. It's got 2 patches in it. John said it cost about $5, so I thought it was worth a try, especially if this jam comes out so yummy, like I think it's going to. Alrighty, as it's continuing to boil a little bit, I don't really like those big chunks, so I'm going to take the immersion blender and do that for a couple of minutes. Now be sure and leave that be sure and leave that immersion blender under when you turn it on. Don't raise it up until it stops. That's going to cause it to get foamy, but I think that's okay. Wow, that's really good. I know with jellies you can add a certain amount of butter and it'll help with that foam. So I'm just going to put in just a small thin slice. It doesn't call for that in the recipe, but that's real butter. And we'll see what that does with the foam. Okay, so right now I can still stir the boiling away. So it's going to take a little bit of time, it looks like. It's already been about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. But we want a really good rolling boil. That's looking more like a rolling boil. Looks like I can still stir it away, so we're just going to wait a little bit and just let that continue to become a really hard rolling boil. And then we're going to add our pectin. Alrighty, I think we have achieved. Still see it boiling when you're stirring. It's not taking it away. So let's get our pectin and add the whole package. Let's stir that in. Now it amazes me that we didn't lose any boil while we were stirring that in, and we're only supposed to let this boil for 1 minute, so let's get that timer started. Got my jar sitting, ready to go. I got my funnel out, I got my ladle ready. I've after 1 minute, we will turn the heat off, and then we will use the back of our spoon to get some of the foam out. Okay, let's get our jars filled. Whole fruit and everything goes in, or whatever fruit pieces that you have will go in, because that's what makes it a jam. Give it a 1/4 headspace. That looks beautiful. Wipe that rim off. Wipe that rim off. I use vinegar. Put your lid on, and I've already been heating up my canister. I've already been heating up my canner. Okay, so spin it on, and then just turn it just a tad. And put them straight into the canner as you're making them. Okay, I'm going to get that done. Now I did forget to debubble it, just that one can, so now we're on track again. Okay, now that we're boiling, we'll boil for 10 minutes and then we'll turn the fire off and take the lid off, and then we'll just be getting them out of the canner. That was a lot of fun to make, you guys. That was a lot of fun to make. I hope you give it a try.